My parents thought like to try and look over like at almost every animal, like which is a stray dog or cat. We'd like give them some water, food, and just to just the thought of like even hurting an animal, like whether that's like just kicking it or like leaving it abandoned or even killing it. Just the thought of that, just like it really hurts. Like at a young age, like my parents didn't put me around there because they didn't want me to like have that in my head. I mean, I eat a lot of like eggs in my like nutrition and some meats. It's just heartbreaking just watching that. It's gonna make me think now like what I eat and like what I'm eating and where it came from and how much suffering the animal had to go through.
Hi everyone, this is Sheena, and today I'm here with Annie, and we're talking about animals. How are you?
I'm doing good. You?
I'm good, thank you. So what do you think about animals? Are you an animal lover?
I mean, growing up, I wasn't born here, right? I was born I'm from South Sudan and Cameroon. And growing up, there's a lot of like, just animals and like outside and like just roaming around. So like just, and like the animals, like they look hungry, So like sometimes me and my parents would just go around and like, just trying to feed them and like make sure they're like doing well, No one's really taking the initiative to like, look after the animals or like, take care of them. So my parents thought like to try and look over like at almost every animal, like which is a stray dog or cat. We'd like give them some water, food, and just to like,
That's amazing. I love that. How about other animals? Would you have a lot of other animals that you would see outside on the streets or otherwise going around other than cats and dogs?
So there's cats and dogs. I see sometimes goats. You'd see goats just walking around. That's pretty much it. There's not really like wild animals like lions or anything.
What was your feeling towards the goats, or what was your experience or relationship towards goats?
I mean, my relationships towards them was like pretty good. Like I never hated goats or like disliked them. So like, just my feelings towards them were like, they're just like any other animal, right? I treat them with care and like, almost like it was like a brother to me, So like, yeah.
That's amazing. I love that. What do you think about animal abuse or people who abuse animals?
I think that's a really bad thing. I'm not really into that because like, just the thought of like even hurting an animal, like whether that's like just kicking it or like leaving it abandoned or even killing it. Just the thought of that, just like it really hurts, because like these animals are like, they're almost like us, like they're like just trying to survive, and then by leaving them to like feed for themselves like on the street or like just be alone, it's kind of like heartbreaking, and then especially hearing like animals like getting killed or like animals getting taken and like just being put in like isolation and stuff like that. It just really hurts and like, yeah.
The next question is a bit harder, and there's no judgment here because I myself paid for it for many, many, many years. Are there any industries where you pay for animals to be confined, mutilated, abused, eventually killed? And by that I mean, do you consume meat, dairy, eggs, and fish?
Yes, I actually do. And I don't really not really like, of course I care about animals, but like, I'm not really I don't really know the animal industry where they're like, this. I haven't really thought of that. Like with my parents, we haven't really thought of that. Like all we thought of was like if we see an animal on like in public or whether it looks like hurt or it needs like care, we'd give it care. But like we never really like thought of like, oh, this is like a big thing. We should like take this serious and like maybe, speak on it.
Excellent. You make some really good points. A lot of times when we see an animal that's being treated badly in front of us, we all run to do something. We all take the opportunity to try and help if we can. But how about in the meat, dairy, eggs, and fish industry, where there is inherent cruelty? Do you still contribute to that by buying the products?
I think when we think of it like that way, I don't think like everyone here, I don't think people are like thinking of like the moment, oh, this egg probably came from this where this animal was killed, Like I think in the moment of it, we're just really like just trying to buy it, because like feed our children at home too. We're not really like thinking about, oh, where did this meat come from, Like so it's like,
It is. It's by nature. It's kept quite hidden from us, isn't it?
Yeah.
We buy the packaged product. or we buy it from a restaurant and we don't think about how that animal was treated. Do you think animals feel pain? Chickens, cows, pigs, dogs, cats, do all animals feel pain?
I think they do because my parents, like, to be honest, like, we'd go out and like get meat. Like, there's this, I don't know if it's a slaughterhouse or not, but like it was like a place where they'd like, hang cows and like kill them, like to get meat out of them. So like at a young age, like I didn't really, my parents didn't put me around there because they didn't want me to like have that in my head. But like I know about it where there's like just animals being killed, and like just the thought of like animals just being killed is like, it's really heartbreaking, because like,
Yeah. We don't take our kids to see these things. Most kids, if they did, they would probably choose to eat very differently. Do you find it strange that we we take our kids to pick apples, but we would never take them to a slaughterhouse, but yet we feed them the products of that torture and abuse and violence? Do you find that a bit contradictory, that we serve our children these things, but we can't show them where it comes from?
Yeah, I think it is, because like as kids, we're like pretty naive. We don't really know where our food's coming from. Like when our food's put on a table, we're supposed to just eat it. We're not supposed to know, hey mom, where did this come from? Or, because they wouldn't really tell you, or they probably wouldn't know themselves. So like it's just hard to like know.
That's exactly right. Another point you made was with your parents, they would be willing, and yourself be willing, to take care of the stray dog or the cat. When we go and buy these animal products, they are treated much worse than that stray dog, much worse than that goat that is suffering. But we do you think we shut our minds off to it a lot when it's part of our food system?
Yeah, I think we do. We shut our minds off. Like, I think we do shut our minds because, like, again, back to my point I mentioned earlier, we're not really like thinking when we're eating, like the food we get is like, oh, it's food, I'm hungry, like I want to eat, we're not really thinking about this, like the suffering this animal had to go through, So.
Which animals do you eat the most?
I mean, I eat a lot of like eggs in my like nutrition and some meats, but like, yeah, just those are the main two. Like,
can I show you a quick video on the egg industry?
Yeah, sure. It's just heartbreaking just watching that, like.
How did that video make you feel?
It really makes me think, like when I'm eating, like to be more like cautious, because I never knew, like, I just ate eggs because, I just ate eggs, like after watching that video and knowing where, eggs come from, it's really, it's just a tragic to see like what's going on and like how like newly born are like getting killed, and it's just really heartbreaking. And it makes me like it's gonna make me think now like what I eat and like what I'm eating and where it came from and how much suffering the animal had to go through.
That's amazing, right? Before you said you were against animal abuse. Do you think it's possible to be against animal abuse while still paying for animals to be abused and killed on your behalf?
I mean, that's a good question. I mean, again, I think it's a tough question, because I think, I think if we were to ask most of the population or like the people in this mall, if they were to go to the grocery store, their meal would probably consist of like, them buying meats or like anything like that. So like, it's just tough to say because one, you could fight for animal brutality where you could like stand up and say something, but at the same time, it's tough because most of the people's meals here are probably eggs, meats, and like just etc. So it's like, it's really tough,
It is really tough. It's hard, especially when we see it all around us kind of all the time. But you may have seen the difference in Toronto in the last 10 years even, the difference with how much plant-based products are available now. Even here behind us is A&W. They have the Beyond Burger there. You go into any restaurant, there will be a plant-based option because it's a supply and demand industry. So other people may not be changing, but you, somebody that is against abuse, do you think you'd be open to learn more about plant-based options, more about veganism, more about what the animals go through? Do you think you'd be wanting to learn more?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, that definitely.
I'll leave you with one thing. If you could live in a world where you harmed humans, harmed animals, or neither, which world would you rather live in?
Where I'm not harming like anything? Probably the neither one, because like just seeing animals getting harmed and like just human is like I said earlier, it's just tough, like just seeing the animals get harmed, and like it's something where you wouldn't want to go through or like see any other animal go through at like such a young age or anything like that. Yeah.
Exactly. Do you think that being vegan would be more in line with that goal of not harming either?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think if everybody could like everybody like saw what was happening and like understood and like chose to make like changes in their like nutrition, I think that could really help. But like it's just, again, it's just all about like educating ourselves and other people and like letting them know what's going on. Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. Do you have any questions for me?
Not that I can think of on the top of my head. No.
Okay, it was so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Yeah,
you too.
thanks
What
for
was your
taking the
name
time to talk. Sheena.
Sheena, I'm Eddie. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.